Hello, welcome back to my channel. Dr. Uche here, your Dr. Booktuber, back to review a book. If this is your first time with me, welcome. It's so glad to have you here. If you're dropping by and you've been here before, welcome back. I always love to come here to review books I'm reading, to inspire you on your reading journey, and I'm always eager to learn of what you are reading so that I might consider that for an upcoming book review. Before we even make progress, remember to hit subscribe, share widely with your friends and family, all the bibliophiles out there, so that they can follow and you will know when I upload a new video. I review fiction, and once in a while I do have children's book read aloud sessions. So let's dig in. Today I am reviewing We Are Not Like Them. We Are Not Like Them by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. I hope I'm saying it correctly. We Are Not Like Them by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. I believe this was published in 2021. Very eye-opening book, very relevant to a situation at these times and current events. And this was particularly why I enjoyed reading this. I hope you will enjoy this review. I can't wait to hear what you think or read your thoughts. And as usual, I have my cup of tea. This is French vanilla. Had to think about that. This is French vanilla. I am so thrilled to sip from this mug today. It says hello, sugar. So hello, friends. That's a good mug and a lovely tea, I might add. So We Are Not Like Them by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. It is fiction, again, based on the times and the current events. It is a book that revolves around two friends, Jen and Riley. So these two friends pretty much grew up together. Jen is a white girl, a white young woman. She became in a greater part of the book. And Riley is a black young woman. So they have quite different upbringings. Jen, raised by a single mother who struggled, socioeconomically struggled with jobs and lots of things, and she was somewhat neglectful, you could feel, and you perceived in reading the book. Riley, on the other hand, raised in a very close-knit family with her mother, grandmother, also very loving parent and women who raised her. Her grandmother had an in-home daycare. And this is actually how she met Riley as a young girl. She met Jen, I'm sorry, Riley is the black girl. Jen is the white girl. So as a young girl, Jen's mom dropped her off at this in-home daycare run by a black middle-aged, I guess, sort of grandmother at the time. So this grandmother was taking care of Riley, her granddaughter, and this is how she came to meet Jen. And so they grew up together, went to school together as young girls, as teenagers. You could definitely see they shared a lot of experiences, got very familiar with each other. Jen, this white girl from being raised by a single mom, ended up being very much loved and embraced by this black grandmother, and who almost became grandmother figure to her. So she grew up embraced and loved by this black family. And we get to see this very well, like much later in the book when this black grandmother died, how very much Jen, for her, it was a personal loss. And she very much was torn up by losing this grandmother figure. So you got to see the attachment very early. Now, you get to see two young women who grew up together, and then over time they sort of grew apart. Riley got a scholarship and went to college, went into journalism. Jen, on the other hand, something to do with her mother not putting in an application for her or not signing some paperwork. So she was not able to secure a scholarship to go to college. She did not. She finished high school and sort of worked through certain jobs, and she ended up getting married to a white man who ended up training as a cop. Now that's really important because the story revolves around this guy and how he ended up in a very tough situation at the line of work with a colleague, and an innocent young black boy is shot dead. So of course, this is spoiler alert. I am here to review books, so I do tell you a lot about the book, but I try to leave a few things for you to find out. So this young black boy is shot at work, is shot, innocent young black boy shot dead. And it has something to do with the husband of Riley. The husband of Jen, the white girl. And Riley is a journalist who ends up having to cover this story. So back up. Riley is the black girl who grew up with Jen, a white girl, lifelong friends. Jen married a cop. Her husband gets involved in the shooting to death of an innocent young black boy. And so Riley is a journalist who has to cover this story. She is interviewing the mother of the boy who was shot dead. And as you can imagine, this mother is supported, surrounded by the black community. And Riley is forced to revisit certain aspects of her family history she didn't even know about. Black male relatives killed violently by white people. And you get to realize that Jen, even though she'd grown up around black people, really did not know a lot of the struggles of this black family or the black community in total. You get to see that although they were very close-knit friends, they didn't discuss some very important things. So how much of a friend can you be with someone when you don't really bare your soul, when you don't really allow them to experience or be aware of your learned, of the experiences you have to live with as a black person, a person of color, being a friend with someone who is not a person of color and not having shared some of your experiences. So the story is told from two perspectives. At times, Riley is speaking of her experiences growing up as a black woman and the things she had to learn, being a journalist assigned to this story, the things she had to deal with, the sad aspect of her life, her brother who was arrested at some point. And she actually also was dating a white guy at some point, and this inability to bare her soul, to open up and discuss her experiences so that people who loved her would understand certain things about her lived experiences and perhaps be more enlightened and be able to relate or understand how she acted in certain situations, certainly drove a wedge in between her and her white best friend, and also the white guy she dated at some point, who turns out to be a very decent person, and somehow they get back together near the end of the book. But this story is, of course, a reflection of the times, things that have come to light, not to say they never used to happen, but in this era of social media and smartphones, a lot of things that would have hitherto been in the dark and are now broadcast. Somebody takes a video, somebody takes a picture, and it's on the internet. It goes viral, and we all see these things live that would never have had been seen in the past, just 20, 30 years ago. So this is very much what the book is about: friendships and openness, and each one having a perspective that the other really could do better learning about. Now, interestingly, Jen, the white girl, and her husband struggled with infertility, and Jen borrows from her friend Riley, who is socioeconomically doing better, and they borrow from her, and they're able to have one final successful attempt at IVF, and they actually do give birth to a baby boy. But by then this innocent young black boy had been murdered, and the cop husband's career is ruined because of certain decisions he made, as the case was really went to court and was discussed and several other things. And at the very end, they're moving out of town. And at the very end, these two friends, childhood girlfriends, come together and they're trying to understand each other. And it's really an eye-opening story. I think that anyone who wants to understand racial relations and the lived experiences of people of color could do well reading the book. People of color in America, let me say in the US, because there's obviously a huge world out there, and we cannot, we have to remember that we are just in a part of the world. A lot of people who listen to my reviews are not necessarily in the US, but this book definitely sheds light on the situation in the US and certain events in the news recently. Again, not to say they had not been happening, but as I said, in this era of social media, a lot of things come to light and are seen by a larger fraction of the population than 20, 30 years ago. So this is We Are Not Like Them by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. My understanding is they are two friends, one black, the other white, who decided to come together to write this book, each from their own perspective, to describe a social issue. I thought it was very well written. Some really sad aspect, of course, as you can imagine, an innocent boy losing his life. Some very hard parts to read. But I hope you get to read this. Let me know what you think. This is Dr. Uche, your Dr. Booktuber. I'll be back again soon to review either fiction or to have a children's book read aloud session. I always love to hear from you, hear what you're reading. Thank you for the messages, the texts, the WhatsApps, the comments, the emails that come to give me book suggestions. I am looking forward to seeing you again next time. Again, hit subscribe so that you'll know, and hit the alert bell so you'll know when I upload a new video. So take care. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.